guys that lay it on the line when you say you're not playing for anything, but I mean, it speaks volumes, man. It really does. And what you guys are made of in the group, the core, and it just kind of spills out. You know, I can't tell you enough about how I appreciate what you guys do and all that goes into it. And because I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. But to do that, what you guys did, that takes a certain type of pride and respect. It takes respect for the guy next to you, and I appreciate you guys. We won that game. We earned that game, right? And we can get into all this. The sickening thing is we're one play away from being in the playoffs, and then anything happens. Really, one play in any one of those games. But today, we showed up. We earned the win. We got it done.
All right, Dan Campbell in the locker room last night in Chicago. Today, the Lions are back at Ford Field cleaning out their lockers as the season comes to an end. Again, they're not heading to the playoffs, but they do end with a winning record, and they are ready for revenge next year. Joining me right now is Mr. Lions himself, the executive producer and the co-host of Detroit Sports Plus, Derek Hutchinson. All right, so Lions season, not the way we wanted it to end. We were hoping to be in the playoffs right now. Yesterday's game, as you heard Coach talking about there, you know, some people say they were playing for nothing. The fact they were playing against Ben Johnson means something, right?
For sure, yeah. And you could see it too, like that fourth down or the third down call where he tried to call up the pass to Jared Goff. I was like, that one was for Ben Johnson right there. Like there were little moments where I was like, he really wants to beat Ben Johnson. And even though the game didn't matter for the Lions playoff wise, I think it is one of those like culture wins. Like you're playing against a team where the game could matter for them. The Bears were still sort of shuffling for seeding, and the Lions knew they were going home, like that, whether they won or not. So to go on the road and win that game when it meant more to the other team, I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of the Green Bay game a few years ago at the end of the season. That one felt a lot better because the Lions were ascending, and obviously this year they fell short of where we were hoping they would go. But it still just shows that like Dan Campbell, he hasn't like lost the locker room. You know, like these guys are still playing hard. So
I think what's frustrating too is when you watch a game like yesterday, you know that we're a good team. Yeah, we just fell short.
Especially the first half, that the way the offense was running in the first half, it reminded you like, man, this team at its best can play with anybody. But then again, you saw in the second half sort of what was the problem all year, which was like in the key moments, the offense sort of disappeared and like the defense gave up a couple of long drives and 2-point conversions. So luckily they were able to win it anyways. But yeah, it was kind of just a modicum of the whole season.
All right, so if you're Dan Campbell and you're looking at next year and, you know, and the rest of the team, Brad Holmes, is one of your number one priorities finding better ways to protect Goff in the pocket?
Yes, that would be my number one priority. Everybody wants to see the Lions address pass rusher, which I get. That is also very important. But I think that the identity of this team is so based on the offensive line and what they do with protecting Jared Goff on the offensive line that has to be the number one priority, whether it's signing a big free agent, whether it's addressing it early in the draft. They need to look at what went wrong this year and realize, like, okay, this is what got us to where we were, and we need to continue to invest in that.
Right, but also, you know, the argument is defense wins games.
Yes.
So how do you rebuild the defensive line?
I think the Lions have showed in the past years, not so much this year, that they can win with an average defense, a defense that is bend but don't break, a defense that makes a few big plays a game, and then the offense carries them. I think this team, the roster as it's currently constructed, is closer to getting back to that than it is to like becoming a defense-first roster. So you've got all the pieces in place to be a great offense. You just have to establish the trenches.
Gotcha. Okay, there's going to be a lot of changes on the roster, a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
I think one of the number one storylines right now is Taylor Decker. Is he coming back next year? In fact, it's one of the things he talked about in the locker room last night and cried. He even said, I'm an emotional guy. I'm going to continue talking about this. Listen to what he had to say real quick.
I need to get away. I need to get away from football. I need to get my body feeling better. I need to make informed decisions. I need to get second opinions. There's a lot that I have to do because I want to make this decision moving forward informed. And I don't want to make it emotionally, because if I make it emotionally, I already know what the answer is going to be. But it's a massive decision, and it's not only about me. It's about my kids. I'll get emotional about that, but just to be able to show up and be the father that I want to be. It's not about, do I want to play football? So that's really important to me. Because I can make the selfish decision. I can keep playing until I can't walk anymore, or I can't throw the ball with my kids. But that's not what you do as a father and a husband. So that's going to weigh heavily into my decision.
So just hearing that, it kind of sounds like his mind is made up a little bit.
It seems like he's leaning towards being done, right? But whether or not that's the case, I think the Lions need to operate this offseason as if he's done.
Right.
Because even if he isn't, it's going to be soon, right? And Taylor Decker he's one of the few Lions players who was through the hard times.
Correct.
Long before Dan Campbell got here, he's seen the worst. And from then to now, he's not as effective of a player as he was, and he's also dealing with a lot more injuries, right? So
you read the articles, you have no idea some of the things that he goes through.
For sure.
Multiple treatments, spending time in hyperbaric chambers and missing practices because he has to be in treatment. He spends more time in treatment than playing football.
Yeah, it reminds you of some of the things you were hearing about Frank Ragnow before Frank Ragnow retired. And, I think the Lions need to err on the side of too many offensive linemen. Yeah, like end up with 7, don't end up with 4, right? So if he comes back maybe for another year, okay, you've got an extra guy. Maybe you let a young guy develop behind him a little bit, but they need to operate as if he's gone, I think.
One of the challenges in replacing, though, is that he's a big dude.
And he's a leader in that locker room, too. Like someone, like I said, who has been there, who knows this culture. It's not easy to replace anyone like that. We saw it with Ragnow again this year. So, yeah. They need to honestly get two people, Ragnow and Decker, who were part of the winning culture here, and replace them both.
All right, so last thing for you. Looking to the draft, what are some of your top 2 picks in terms of not people, but positions?
Yeah. For me, it's offensive line and edge rusher in that order. A lot of people are going to have it flipped. I get it. This is going to be a pass rush heavy draft, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions did end up going to the pass rusher somewhere in the middle of the first round. But Brett Holmes doesn't play by everybody else's playbook, so honestly, very few things would surprise me.
Got it. Okay, we'll see what happens in the offseason.
Thanks,
Derek. Appreciate you, man.